What's going on? My name is Tosh Dalday. This is SDG Labs. Welcome to class. Physics! Alright, we're going to hit polynomials 2.1, and here's what I've written down. I've written that a polynomial is of the form Cn x to the n, Cn minus 1 x to the n minus 1, dot 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 dot, C2 x squared C1x plus C naught. Where Cn minus 1, C dot 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 dot, C2, C1, and C0 are this weird looking R thing. Now this weird looking R thing means real numbers. So it's basically just saying that these things are real numbers. And Cn is not equal to 0. Let me kind of, alright, wait, 1 second. I know you guys are freaking out. You guys are looking at this and you're like, that's algebra 2? Ah! Alright, I'm going to give you a second. Okay, good. You done freaking out? Alright, good. Here's what we're going to need to kind of talk about. I'm going to debug this thing. I'm going to basically break it down for you. This is a polynomial. 4x to the 6th power plus 3x to the 5th power plus 9x4 plus x squared minus 7. That's a polynomial. Alright, this thing you're not freaking out about. This one you kind of do. This one you're not. This and this are the same thing. All this is saying is that this is where n equals to 6. Because n equals to 6, you have a x to the 6th power, x to the 5th power, x to the 4th power. You do have an x to the 3rd power actually. You have an x to the 2nd power, and x to the 1st power, and then an x to the no power. Now you're asking yourself, well, where is the x to the 3rd power and where's the x? Well, I would say that maybe the number out in front of those things is 0. It just so happens that those numbers are 0. So you don't see them, but it doesn't mean that, technically you do have one there. So what it's going to look like, it's going to look like x6, x5, x4, x3, x2, x1, x0. And by the way, x to the 0th power is the same as 1. That's why we don't even write that part over there. And then all it's saying is that these Cn's, this Cn happens to be 4. The Cn minus 1, which is talking about the 5th coefficient, because this is talking about the C6, the 6th coefficient is 4. The 5th coefficient is 3. The 4th coefficient is 9. The 3rd coefficient is 0. The 2nd coefficient is 1. The first coefficient, or the first coefficient is 0, and then the last coefficient is -7. So all this is saying is that depending on the degree of your polynomial, this will kind of describe it. Now you don't need to memorize this. I just want you to look at this and kind of be comfortable with this. This is just saying some number, that's what Cn is, times x to the whatever nth power of nth degree of polynomial you have, plus another number times x to the n minus 1. So if you have the 9th degree polynomial, then you're going to have the 8th power over here, and the 7th power, and the 6th power, all the way until you go, and you keep on going all the way until you get to x squared, x to the 1st power, and then just the coefficient out at the end. This is the x to the 0th power, which is, denoted by those C naughts. Now there is no relation between Cn, Cn minus 1, C2, C1, C0, and so on and so forth. Those could just be any number you choose. And if you don't happen to see the number out in front, then maybe that coefficient is 0. What is this talking about? The c to the n minus 1, or the c to the n cannot equal to 0? All that's saying is that, I guess here's one way to think about it. Let me write down a polynomial. Let's go x to the 4th power, 3x to the 4th power plus 2x squared minus 7x plus 2. I just made that up off the top of my head. All that's saying is that if you're talking about an n to the 4th power, a 4th degree polynomial, then if the number in front of the first term were 0, then really you don't have a 4th degree polynomial, do you? You have well in this case it's a 2nd degree polynomial, because this thing got killed because there was a 0 out in front of it. That means the highest term for this polynomial is actually a 2nd degree, and then this thing doesn't describe it anymore. This thing does. So your first coefficient, your leading coefficient can't be 0. That's all it's saying.
Shoots, bro. Up out.